Have you ever stared at an essay prompt and just nothing? Your mind is a complete blank? Yeah, we've all been there, but you're not alone. Today, we're going to crack the code on the argumentative essay and turn that scary blank page into a clear process you can use every single time.
It's that feeling, right? The pressure of having to come up with this amazing, persuasive argument from just one little question. It can feel pretty impossible, but what if I told you there's a system to it all?
Look, it's not magic, I promise. The people who write those high-scoring essays, they're just following a system, a kind of code. And today, you and I are going to learn that code together, step by step. So let's dive into the very first piece of the puzzle.
All right, first things first. Before you write a single word, you've got to put on your detective hat. I'm serious. You need to know exactly what the question is asking. Every little word can be a clue, and they're all hiding in plain sight, right there in the prompt.
Okay, so we're going to use this classic essay question as our case study. It's perfect because it looks pretty simple on the surface, doesn't it? But trust me, there is a lot going on underneath.
So let's break this down. As you can see, the topic is obviously government funding, and the task is to agree or disagree. But the real good stuff, the real insight comes when you dig a little deeper. Check out the key terms. Full course fees. That means 100%, not just some help. That's a huge detail. And then the hidden issues, things like the burden on taxpayers or equality of access. This is the gold mine right here. This is where your best arguments are going to come from. Think of this analysis as your roadmap for the whole essay.
So, once you've done your detective work, it's time to actually build your case. And listen, we're still not writing sentences yet. This is all about getting the raw materials for your argument. A really good brainstorming session is absolutely non-negotiable.
First up, you've got to pick a side. Are you all in for it, completely against it, or do you see the gray areas? And here's a little pro tip. For a really top-tier essay, showing that you understand the complexity, taking a more nuanced view can often lead to a much more sophisticated argument.
And this is literally what your brainstorming can look like, just a simple list of pros and cons. On the agree side, we've got some heavy hitters like equal access and less student debt. On the disagree side, you've got the huge costs to taxpayers and questions of fairness. Now here's the key. You're not going to use all of these points. Your job right now is just to pick the one or two strongest arguments for the side you've chosen.
Okay, you've got your ideas. Now what? Well, you need a plan, an architectural blueprint. A clear structure is what separates a rambling, confusing opinion from a powerful argument that your reader can actually follow and be persuaded by.
And here it is, the classic four-part structure. It's a classic for a reason. It works. You start with an introduction that grabs the reader and states your position. Then you have two solid body paragraphs, each one focused on a single, strong argument. And finally, a conclusion to wrap it all up. Simple, clear, and believe me, it is incredibly effective. Now let's zoom in a little. What's the magic that happens inside those body paragraphs? Well, we use something called the Peel method, and this little acronym is an absolute game changer. It forces you to make sure every paragraph is well-developed, logical, and actually supports your main idea. It stands for point, evidence, explanation, and link.
First up, P is for point. This is your topic sentence, the very first sentence of the paragraph. Its only job is to state the one main idea of that paragraph. Clearly, directly, no more, no less. It's like the mission statement for that paragraph.
Next, E for evidence. Because without evidence, your point is, well, it's just an opinion, right? You have to back it up with a fact, a statistic, or a real-world example. So, for instance, throwing in a specific number, like the cost in the UK, makes that financial burden argument feel very real and very significant. And here's the part that so many people forget. The second E stands for explanation. You can't just drop a piece of evidence and then run away. You have to explain why it matters. So what? You have to connect the dots for the reader. How does that £12 billion cost lead to real consequences, like higher taxes or cuts to other services?
And finally, L is for link. This is the bow on top. It's the final sentence that ties the whole paragraph together, connecting this specific point right back to your main thesis from the introduction. It's a neat way to remind your reader how everything fits together.
Okay, so you've got your structure, you've got your arguments. The final step is to really polish your language. This is how you take an essay from being just good to being truly great.
It's all about using the right tools to sound precise and sophisticated. Using topic-specific vocabulary instantly makes you sound like you know what you're talking about. So instead of saying something like help for poor students, you can use a precise term like a means-tested approach. Instead of just it costs a lot, you can talk about the unsustainable taxpayer burden. See the difference? It shows a much deeper level of understanding. Want a really quick win? Upgrade your verbs. Seriously, just look through your essay and swap out a simple verb like get for something a bit more formal, like obtain or acquire. It's such a small change, but it has a huge impact on making your writing sound more academic and authoritative.
And it's the exact same deal with how you begin your sentences. Instead of a simple I think, try out a phrase like it is my contention that. It immediately changes the whole tone from just a casual opinion to a well-thought-out academic position.
And finally, don't be afraid to flex your grammar muscles a little bit. Playing with different sentence structures, using complex sentences or if-then clauses, and even the passive voice sometimes shows that you have a real command of the language. It's a hallmark of really high-level writing.
So if there's one thing to take away from all of this, it's this. A great argumentative essay isn't really about just sharing what you think. It's about building a logical, well-supported, and frankly, undeniable case for your position, one piece at a time.
So there you have it. You have the code, you've got the blueprint, and you've got the tools. The only question left is, what powerful argument are you going to build first?